Chapter 10 of the book Tribal Church is entitled Planting New Tribes. I really do believe that there's a place for establishing community campuses that remain a part of your church, but there's also a great need to actually plant new tribes that are no longer a part of your tribe. 10 years ago, I was in New York City, and as I drove around Manhattan, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of conservative, evangelical, new paradigm churches. And so we decided to plant a church there, and we started a wonderful adventure in where we pulled together churches, an alliance of churches, several churches that together would plant a church in an under-resourced area. And we pulled our funds and we began to look for a pastor. Now, one of the things that we found out is the key to planting churches is the right leader. And we believe that a leader needs, first of all, to have the ability to teach. If they don't have a good teaching gift, they're not going to be a great pastor of a church. It's amazing to me the support that some organizations give to church planters, and they've never heard them teach. And that's an essential skill. So first of all, they've got to be a good teacher. The second of all, we believe that they need to be a strong leader. We use the personality profile called Leading from Your Strengths. And it's a version of a DISC, the D-I-S-C. And we found that people that have the DI profile or the ID profile make the best leaders. And that's not to say that it's limited to those profiles, but those are more natural leaders. Then we also use a tool that Gallup has given us that doesn't measure personality, but rather measures the strengths of a person. And leading Strength Finder, made by Gallup, is a tool which indicates that there are 34 different strengths. And we have found that of those 34 strengths, there are actually 9 strengths that we would call hard strengths. Strengths like competitive and command and maximizer and strategic. And if a person has at least 2 of those hard strengths, they make a better church planter than, for example, somebody who may have a different strength like harmony or ideation or some other strength that like futuristic or belief, and those are all good strengths. But if they don't have any hard strengths, they're a thinker and they're not a doer. And when it comes down to planting churches, eventually you have to pull the trigger, you have to make some hard calls, and you have to do something. And then we've also found that it's good for a church planter to have prior success in any endeavor. No matter what the job is to have some kind of experience where they have shown that they can work hard and they have a will to get things done. One of the things that happens when we pull together an alliance of churches to select that pastor is that we find that there's strength then in those numbers. There's a number of counselors. One of the things that we provide for the new church planter is monthly coaching. The other thing that we do is we provide 100% of the church planter's budget the first year. And then we provide the same amount of money the second year, but that becomes about half of the church planter's budget. And then we provide the same amount of money collectively as a group of churches that third year, and that becomes 25% of that church planter's budget. And then that final year, they become independent. Now think about it. They're financially resourced. They have the right gifts and abilities. They have coaching. And then in addition to that, we also send teams to help to encourage them. And we found that that combination, the rightly skilled person with the right kind of support and the right kind of coaching, has a greater possibility of success. And we've had the privilege of starting a couple of churches in New York City, and one in Portland, Oregon, and one in Tampa, Florida, and 3 in San Francisco, and 1 in Boston, and 1 in Fort Collins. And we look forward to continuing to plant other churches, building on what we've learned from those first church plants. And what we're seeing is we're seeing tribes of churches where these churches now that we started are turning around and helping to plant other churches. And that tribe is increasing because we've started strong churches. And we haven't gone for a large number of tribes in the beginning, but a quality regional tribe that can then reproduce other tribes.